Well, let's go to the head of state in the UK and its dominions like Australia now, with the coronation countdown continuing. And let's cross to Buckingham Palace and catch up with Ingrid Seward, who's the editor-in-chief of Majesty magazine. She's written more than a dozen books on the royals. Joins us now live. Good to talk to you, Ingrid. I was reading today, we all recall this majesty, I suppose, to use that word, of the Queen's funeral. Most of us had never seen that sort of pomp and circumstance before, the number of people involved. But the coronation parade and everything that's going on around the capital for the coronation is going to dwarf that. You're going to have much bigger marches, a much bigger event.
Well, we've pulled out the stops with all our military, and certainly military from the Commonwealth, although it won't be like 1953. And we've certainly pulled out all the stops for the actual ceremony itself. And I think people people might be a little bit, sort of bored with the idea right now, but I think when it comes to it, people will be totally overawed by the pomp and circumstance of the whole thing. And this is a ceremony that's been made, far more woke, if you like, and far more modern than the late Queen's coronation in 1953.
Oh, spare me. How are they making it woke?
Well, maybe woke is the wrong word. Well, look, there's certainly, as we know, King Charles is a great one for reusing things. So what he's done in this occasion, which makes perfect sense, is he's using robes from other coronations. So, for instance, he's using his great-grandfather, King George V. He's using his, it's called a super tunica, which is a gold cloak, which is very, very intricate. He's using that, and he's also using something called a Columbia Sidonis, which is like a linen, that's the Latin for a linen shift. And that belongs to his grandfather, George VI. And that is for the anointing. So you take off all the smart clothes and everything, and you put on this very simple shift. And that's when you are anointed in the eyes of God. So it needs to be something really simple.
So so it looks all very flash, but it's all hand-me-downs that he's going to be wearing. Tell us about the cost, Ingrid.
It's hand-me-downs.
Yeah, very historic hand-me-downs. £100 million, right? Now, I imagine with the tourism spin-offs and whatever, the nation actually profits out of this pomp and circumstance anyway. But, it's tough times at the moment. I know in the UK a lot of people are doing it very tough, especially with electricity prices and gas prices and the like, as we are in Australia. Is there any blowback about the cost of this event?
Well, people are moaning, but the British love to moan, and especially about money and the weather. And I think that in reality it's a drop in the ocean, considering what we waste on other things. Now, I can't think of anything to tell you, but I know that, during the pandemic, for instance, we wasted an enormous amount of money on trying out things that didn't work. So this is not wasted money, it's money well spent. People will moan, but it's also, we need an enormous amount of security because we live in very difficult times, as everyone knows. So that is going to be a large part of the bill.
That is the sad thing about it, but I've got to say, with the Queen's funeral, it's impressive how the public were able to get so close, and you got that sense of normality, even though there must have been such extensive security. So no doubt we'll see that on the weekend as well. Just briefly, Ingrid, Meghan Markle, she's not going to be there, but she's signed up with a new talent agency and whatever. Do we expect her to sort of try and Instagram her way into the event somehow?
Well, I don't think so. I think that Meghan Markle is going to be taking it very, very gently. I'm sure that the William Morris agency, who she's signed up with, I think they're going to let her know that she's not one of the most popular women in the world at the moment, and that is their job, to reinstate her in the popularity stakes. But it seems to me that Harry doesn't have a great deal to do with this. I mean, they're taking on their Archwell Foundation, but there's very little mention of Harry, so he's being a bit sidelined here. But, he's useful because he's the one with the title.
I wonder why. He'll be the one walking around with a little tape recorder trying to pick up more material. Thanks for joining us, Ingrid. Appreciate your insights.